Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Dario here with another Options in Play video update. I hope you all had a wonderful long weekend, long holiday weekend. We have a really busy week coming up, both because we have lots of big earnings, but also some big economic events, which start Wednesday with Powell's speech, and then Thursday and Friday we have some really key economic data. So overall, it should be a pretty busy week. I think one of the main themes. But one of the main themes that we're seeing at the beginning of this week is like this weakness in oil, which has really dropped pretty quickly since topping out at the beginning of the month. So one of the things you'll read, and I guess if you follow like the news a little bit closer, you'll see that there's a lot of people that are starting to get increasingly more negative on energy because of this real recent separation in performance between what oil's doing and what energy stocks are doing. So you can see USO, it's not quite back to the September low, but it's also not that far off of it. Also, kind of back to the levels where it was in February before Russia invaded Ukraine. Now, when you look at energy, so say XLE, obviously totally different story. Yes, it's a little bit off the high, but not not by much. And as far as where it was in September, it's not even in the same zip code from where it was a month and a half ago. So you have like this trade where people are looking for kind of a convergence in price, where they say that like oil's been materially weak or weaker, right? Energy stocks have been significantly outperforming, and there has to be some sort of catch-up trade to the downside, especially if oil remains weak. And I like catch-up trades just as much as the next person, but I also, when it comes to these types of trades, like I just don't I don't assume just because there's been a huge separation and a lot of people think something's going to happen. I just don't assume that it's necessarily going to happen until I start to see signs that it's starting to move that way, right? So I'd say that today was probably the first sign, maybe since last week, where you had like a break of the 20 day. So you guys know that I place a lot of importance on the 8 EMA and the 20 simple when it comes to momentum. To me, like those are like the two ultimate momentum indicators. So you did have a break below the 20 last week, but then a really fast ricochet back above it. Now today you're getting a break below the 20. So if this move sticks, and if it doesn't ricochet back above the 20 day like it did last week, then today could be like your first sign that, okay, had a great run, things are getting toppy, oil's looking weak, and maybe now energy is going to start more of a sustained pullback because you've had a lot of outperformance versus the underlying commodity over the last month and a half. Okay, so for me, the 20 day is the line in the sand right now. If XLE stays below the 20 day and starts to creep lower, there's obviously plenty of room to the downside. Probably for me, the first target being the 50 day around 85. For some people like the XOP, similar idea. The longer it stays below the 20 simple, I'm looking at the 50 simple, which is the black line down here around 144, 144.50 as like the preliminary first target. Also for the XOP, that kind of lines up pretty nicely with the low from last week. So, um, this has been more talked about recently, and I feel like just in the last couple of days, I've been reading, that short interest on some of these bigger cap energy names has been starting to ratchet higher. So as far as catch up trade to the downside, I feel like it's possible. And today is maybe like a first sign in direction to the lower, but again, you really want to see the breakdown stick, right? What would be nice, maybe like a 2 to 3 day pause, let the 8 EMA start to turn lower. That could start to put overhead pressure, and then as things start to leak lower, you might get momentum build if it takes out the low from last week. So food for thought, throwing it out there on your radar, just because I've seen more and more people talk about it over the last week and a half, and while I've been kind of staying away. It's definitely starting to get a little bit more interesting on the downside now to me. Okay, so if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading options, please follow up the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great night, stay well, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.